Hi, I'm Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch President, with our weekly update here on Facebook Live. It's been an incredibly busy week here at Judicial Watch as it relates to our efforts to clean up government corruption, especially with respect to the Clinton emails. You know, it's funny, last week as we were doing the Facebook Live, I think as we were recording our Facebook Live of last week, news was breaking, I didn't know it at the time, about the reopening of the FBI investigation into the Clinton email matter, and things have been exploding ever since. What's incredible about that, I'll give you a brief rundown on our take on that, is that you've got the FBI all of a sudden figure out that Huma Abedin has Clinton emails or things related to the State Department. And you have many in the media and investigators relying on Abedin's testimony to us to figure out where the emails were. And my question is, why didn't the FBI and the Justice Department do this from the get-go? Meaning subpoena or obtain Abedin's emails. She was the only other State Department official and we uncovered the details here thanks to our litigation, that had a State Department, that had an email account on Clinton's email server. As best we know, it was Mrs. Clinton, Abedin, and Chelsea Clinton. And why on earth did not the FBI get those records to begin with? It just exposes how corrupted and compromised that investigation run by the leadership of the FBI and the Justice Department was. And the other big news this week was the FBI, or the Wall Street Journal reporting that the Justice Department was suppressing an FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation pay-for-play allegations. Allegations which were exposed in dramatic fashion by Judicial Watch in August, where we exposed emails from Huma Abedin showing that donors for the Clinton Foundation were getting special access and favors at the State Department. The investigation's ongoing by the FBI, but they're not able to get, according to the news, the things that normal investigators would get, like subpoenas, the ability to bring in witnesses, and even a grand jury. So startling news, and of course the left is attacking Director Comey for reporting to Congress, as he should have, about the status of the investigation, as opposed to highlighting the fact that Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin took emails out of the State Department and hid them from the American people, and now we're finding another location where they might be. So this is just astonishing, and obviously it's having an impact on the presidential race, and that impact is one of Mrs. Clinton's making. To blame law enforcement for doing the things they should have been doing and are obligated to do is just so typical Clinton, but we'll see how that works out. I don't know what the FBI is going to do unless there's a special counsel, and even then, I don't trust this government to investigate someone like Mrs. Clinton, especially if she's elected president. So that's why our investigations are continuing, and along those lines, we released more Huma Abedin emails showing that Ms. Abedin had classified information on her server. Clinton sent it to her. It was marked classified by the State Department in turning it over to us, but Abedin had this material. The multiple occasions we pointed out Abedin had classified information on her server. So all the surprise about it from the FBI is just incredible to me. And the new emails also show, again, more pay-for-play allegations or evidence where one of the Fanjul brothers, who basically run the sugar business here in the United States, was going again through the Clinton Foundation to try to get a meeting with Hillary Clinton. Again, the State Department and Mrs. Clinton promised that wouldn't be the case if she were put in place in the State Department. Evidently, donors had a special access to the State Department, which is contrary to law, which is why the FBI should be investigating the Clinton Foundation. Now, other documents that were released this week, first of all, going back to those Abedin emails, they show there are more Clinton emails that weren't turned over to the State Department as she promised. She said everything was turned over as far as I know. She was very explicit with Congress, or much more broad in her statement, everything was turned over. Well, we uncovered well over several hundred emails that Mrs. Clinton didn't turn over that raised questions about the veracity of her testimony. And just yesterday and today, thanks to two lawsuits, the first ours, and then Vice News' Jason Leopold, who also has a lawsuit, the emails the FBI recovered are being released.
Now, let me just say this. I think up to, as of yesterday, 537 emails were released. There'll be more released today, I think, which is the last release before the election. The FBI, State Department has had these records from the FBI since July. Again, these are the records, emails that the FBI recovered that Hillary Clinton tried to delete or withhold from the State Department. And they've only released 500 to date. And maybe there'll be a few hundred today. Unbelievable slow walking of these records. And it shows you the State Department is in cover-up mode for Hillary Clinton. Major court filings in this litigation this week as well. Remember, John Bentel, the Clinton IT official, took this Fifth Amendment 87 plus times last week in his deposition with Judicial Watch. We filed a motion to compel earlier this week, meaning we're asking the court to make him testify because he didn't provide any basis to assert the Fifth Amendment. So I think that's an important pleading. You can look about it on our website. Also, remember, Mrs. Clinton had to sign or swear to answers under oath, written answers, to 25 Judicial Watch questions. And you may recall, she said, I don't recall, numerous times in response to the 25 questions. But let me tell you this, there were 3 questions she didn't answer at all, and she refused to answer at all. So yesterday we filed a motion to compel to force Hillary Clinton to answer our basic questions. And I think the questions related to, I'm going on memory here, I don't have the press release in front of me, the whether she read a memo warning her about BlackBerry use, where she got the number saying that 90 to 95% of her emails were captured by the State Department. She says it's attorney-client. Well, her attorney told her that, or did she find out separately? We got to figure that out. And I forget the third one. I think it relates also to her email. Obviously, it relates to her email usage. But Mrs. Clinton ain't answering all the questions we're asking her, and we're asking a federal court to require her to. And you know, it's this strong legal action that makes me so honored to work here at Judicial Watch, because we're doing things, and it's pretty clear we're the leaders in investigating the Clinton emails. The FBI is following our lead. The Justice Department is obstructing us, so obviously they're following our lead. And Congress is off campaigning. They're not doing anything. And the major media, other than a few outlets, are doing not much in the way of investigating in terms of actually getting the documents of what Mrs. Clinton was hiding from us. And we're in court as well. Just today we were in court appealing a lower court ruling saying the State Department did enough to get Hillary emails back. Well, not to put too fine a point on it, but the law requires if records of a federal nature are taken improperly, the State Department and the National Archivist are supposed to notify the Attorney General to take steps. The State Department didn't do any of that. Of course they didn't want to do any of that. They didn't want to make Mrs. Clinton the subject of yet another investigation about taking records that didn't belong to her and that belonged to the American people. And I'm pleased to say at least it was before a 3-judge appellate panel, and it looked like 2 of the judges were sympathetic to us. So this case may be resurrected, and the State Department and Justice Department may have to actually go out and find the emails and do the things they should have been doing. If they had done what we had asked them to do, to notify the Attorney General to go out and get the records, and that because they were missing and they need to be recovered, maybe we would be talking about the Huma Abedin emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop now, because the FBI and Justice Department would have subpoenaed and gotten them long ago. So that hearing went well today. Well, I don't know what the opinion's going to be in the end, so you never know, because you could have a good oral argument and the opinion could go the other way, but it looked good. And we have another hearing on Monday on the Clinton email matter. Yes, on Monday, because the FBI turned over 7 disks of information to the State Department about the Clinton email matter, and we need to find out when we're getting those records, and we may find out more about that on Monday. And on another note, minor note, but as I say that sarcastically because it relates to the illegal immigration crisis, we had an appellate court argument in California yesterday. We're suing on behalf of a taxpayer, Earl DeVries in California, who objects to the California state system run by the Board of Regents there, providing taxpayer-funded tuition benefits to illegal aliens. and the law doesn't allow that to happen. It's the long and short of it is only the state legislature can authorize that type of subsidy, even however outrageous it is. But obviously, the Board of Regents isn't the state legislature, so I think we have a strong argument to make, and it shows you that Judicial Watch is advocating for the rule of law, not only in Washington, but across the country, and in this case, California, on a key issue, which is illegal immigration. Because I tell you, Mr. Trump or someone else can build a wall 1,000 feet high, but as long as states like California are providing taxpayer benefits to illegal aliens, it's going to be hard to keep them out. And that's why the rule of law efforts on immigration not only focus on what's going on here in Washington, obviously, but the states and localities got to play their role, and they have to stop obstructing the rule of law and undermining the rule of law by supporting often illegal aliens present here in the United States. So that was a lot to talk about. On Monday, I think we'll have a special report on Facebook Live from our election integrity director talking about our efforts to monitor the polls in Virginia, so that you'll want to tune in there, and you can go to our website to find out more about that effort. And I'll just leave you with the idea that you need to get out and vote. I won't tell you who to vote for. I can't as a C3, but you have the right to vote. It's a precious right. If you're not going to exercise it, that's your right as well, but I hope you think that through and think carefully about exercising your right to vote. Because I can tell you, at Judicial Watch, we meet with groups from all over the world, very interested in our system, in our constitutional protections, in the rule of law, and they don't have the rights we do. And so I suggest, if you're able to exercise this precious right, and because as you know, not only is there the presidential campaign, you have every member of Congress and the House running, many senators are running for office, and then you have, I can't tell you all the state and local races that are out there, I can't pretend to know that, and then you have various initiatives and spending measures. So there's a lot there for you to vote on, and I encourage you to get out there and vote. And it's your choice on how you're going to exercise your right, but it's a right that should be exercised if you're able to. So with that, have a great weekend, and next time I see you, maybe we'll know who the next president is, depending on what happens on Tuesday. But thank you for your support of Judicial Watch, and no matter what happens on Tuesday, we're going to be holding these corrupt politicians here in Washington accountable to you, the American people, and to the rule of law. Thank you.